So for them, it's not necessarily surprising. I guess it's just in comparison to the map of Mirage, which they a bit of a change, Vince, and we're already into their T side.
Can they fare better in the pistol? No, and they can't, Tom. Spoiler warning, they're going to get wrecked. Oh my God. You could ever ask for. He's a very humble guy, incredibly skilled, not having any issues in taking some of the more difficult roles. But it is going to be Rigon while Flashbang taking off the head of Olof, and that opens up some business over on Ivy.
Oh, this is where they were scariest yesterday. I sort of made up my own stat that I genuinely believe c0ntact won more rounds where they didn't have a full buy than when they did. And the interesting thing there is they won 0 pistol rounds. So that's not including pistol rounds. Their 4 spies were pretty good. They did a lot with the Deagles, and they're starting to do it again, Vince. That's already another. Kirby goes down. Brokey looking around, trying to find the angle onto one of these players. He spots out Esperanto, his Baltic brother, but the fact is it's Spinks doing most of the damage. Rain already tagged, and Spinks is just going ham. 3 kills with the Deag. Cold, the only one remaining, but they are at least tagged.
Tagged low and in range of the Brazilian. He's been in so many situations like this over the years, and he's come out ahead so many times. 2 players exceptionally low, 1 bullet away from death, and Spinks, the only healthy-ish player that he has to really contend with.
He's already better than me. Definitely was humble back then as well. But when it comes to players like Spinks, I haven't necessarily seen too much from him. He really impressed me yesterday, like individually so solid, and that seems to be the thing with this roster. Now, Esperanto, I'm hoping we get to see a secondary ult when he gets onto the CT side. He didn't pick it up yesterday. It's a role that's sort of been taken. And Kyobi's actually making this one relatively costly. Rigon's just killed himself. Now we're in a 2v2.
Oh, Coldzera with the Deag from downtown puts it in the head of Esperanto, and there's Kirby.
Gonna go back for more. Trying to find out information, but maybe slightly an overface. Already had the man advantage, and that's always the thing. Like, this map is one that allows for an awful lot of aggression. That is a really nice nade as well, and Rain, he just turns the tide once again. Doesn't overface, doesn't overcommit, just smokes off and falls back. They're probably going to have to reposition because Kirby's spot is not really safe anymore if they don't have pop control. The remainder of the T's, well, Ivy is being watched, but it's watched from afar, and this almost feels like a domino effect. I feel like if 1 kill goes the way of the T's, then everything falls apart. Kirby, though, maybe not. He's trying to hold it together. He's the tape for the team. It's like having one of those star-studded performances, and thus far, it's been a little bit slower. Now, he does have his ult back into this round, but his opponent is also with 1 in play. Rigon, however, is going to go down trying to push the edge of the smoke, and that's almost too easy a kill for Olaf to take.
Olaf Leicest's been around the block too many times to catch him off guard, and Ivy when he's holding that angle. This is a map that in many of his previous teams, he was a monster on. He used to wield the ult quite a few times. Curious to see what happens in the future if they do go for double ops, and Brokey showing that they don't need to. As long as they have 1 in his hands, he's worth 2 players by himself. And now Otto, the opposition AWPer on 8 HP, doesn't really have too many options. The bomb is dropped back towards the T side of the map, near the spawn. And so that 3-round spree that I was discussing before, seeming like it's going to come to an abrupt end, and that's just in time for FaZe. They can now start to build that economy.
He'll be playing a pretty close angle, one that's fairly easy to get overwhelmed. Also has an incendiary ready, but he's not going to be throwing it out. Just holds the angle. Instant first shot, second as well for Coldzera. And now, well, they've got to go for this. The bomb's down on the deck, and he's making this look easy. They might have found him earlier on the edge of the smoke, but this time the timing wasn't so lucky.
No control over the bomb, and really just maybe trying to think of some ideas for the next round in terms of a call. None whatsoever. Coldzera actually backing off so he won't get affected by some of those flashes that are tossed over the top. Now that he has a secondary smoke put down onto ramp, was tossed in from the connector rotation. I think it was Brokey that threw it in. Allows him to stay alone again for a little bit longer. Flashbang through. Countermeasures deployed. Doesn't have much left, though, in surplus. Only 1 flash to go, but now has Brokey coming in. Here come the swell of grenades, blotting out the sun with smokes. Coldzera steps up to the mantle, puts 2 kills down range, 2 HP to his name, and tons of damage to Snappy. It's a 2-on-2, but Coldzera's given them a very good chance of clutching this one out. It's going to be a post-plant on top of everything else, and they have 2 AKs to come back with. Esperanto's timing is slightly off. He got a bit sidetracked, I think, from that flashbang that threw him out of a loop. But Snappy will get the drop on the first. No idea as to where Olofmeister is. He's about to find out firsthand. The bullet sprayed out from the top of the train. Snappy behind in terms of hit points. But Olofmeister turns around at the worst possible moment. He outgames himself. And they're not slowing down either, Tom. Snappy feeling it after clutching that 1v2. Now going back out into the open again. He's had mixed success, a couple rounds he's got plenty of entries and sometimes picked off first. 3v3, Olof holding it down on the trains, dropping down as Spinks gets the upper hand onto the veteran. A Swede will have to be on the bench for a little bit longer before the end of this half takes shape. Rigon had a bit of an off game, was one of their top players yesterday. And Coldzera doing laps around Ivy will be joined by Brokey. The Latvian down to just 42 HP. Post-plant again. I've spotted one of the 2 players in the form of Spinks. We'll have to think twice about re-peeking on his low HP. Now, I hate cheat tossed in case he's playing up close. This is mainly to bait out for Rigon, though. The bomb is planted for his location, but now that his teammate's gone down, it may force Rigon into some overextended peaks, and in doing so, he gives himself up to the Brazilians. Not too shabby. They're still in this. Everyone barring Rigon alive. Otto closer to demise than the rest of his teammates, and 2 of them outside of Pop Dog, maybe going to be going in for a pop flash into a push. Esperanto, typically one of those players that you're looking at to perform well. As Olofmeister opens his account on Ivy, he goes down, but damage inflicted. Also saw the bomb drop out. They know it's an A hit. They'll have to position accordingly. Coldzera again, and again is showing his worth. And his team are a player to the good, but for how much longer is yet to be seen. Otto goes in for 1. It's another even trade. 1v1, slight health advantage favoring Esperanto. And the Lithuanian up against the Norwegian, looking to come out with a wide swing and gets it done. They do end in winning ways, but they'll be trailing 9-6 going through to the second half.
Instead, here we go. Snappy, good position. Esperanto going to be the one taking contact. But we'll see if they can actually hold this position. They're also getting smoked out from afar, so this could become quite awkward. In fact, Esperanto's going to opt to fall all the way back, and Rain has already got that opening pick. They look to try and pressure, and it's not happening, Vince. No miracles are coming alive today. 2 players remaining. Make that just 1. Snappy had a pretty decent first half, at least individually. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, we got 1. He needs 4 more. An absolute miracle needed, and he's being surrounded, and Kirby denies.
Snappy nearly loses his life. Rain's been another player that started very hot indeed over on Pop Dog. Comes right around the corner, takes Snappy off. There's still 30 seconds, and they have the bomb under control. This round maybe hasn't been closed off just yet. Olof flanking round the back. If he guesses correctly, Otto will be a dead man. He's about to find Otto, shuts him down with a headshot. 17 seconds, and now FaZe are pushing onto the site, but the timing is brutal. Rain at least deals with the threat of Esperanto, going for the plant. Spinks goes through the smoke. Can he actually shut down Rain, who comes off the bomb? He was caught
on the A site. Bomb and 2 other players looking to go towards Ivy, put some pressure onto Otto. Hasn't had the best game so far, but we haven't seen the AWP from him much over on this CT side. And with a 2-man pick up, a bomb dropped, and only 1 man around that angle. It is, however, Kirby, who, as we've said, has been lights out so far. It's been fantastic, and he's going to get the kill. Swings wide, looks to make this a little bit more costly. It's a round that's looking in failure, but if anybody could win it so far, it has been him. He picks Rigon out of the air, but he is being flanked. Does he expect Snappy to round the corner? Peeking out into Ivy, a nade thrown would give the game away, so he needs to try and keep himself hidden, and Spinks.
12-11, this could end up being. They honestly should have both died there, Tom. And instead, they'll be given the green light to start to aggress towards the site. Otto's fallen to the hands of Olof. Esperanto opens up from heaven. Can't see the bomb planter. It's in amongst all the smoke. And now the smoke begins to fade, as will Esperanto. Spinks at range, 19 kills to his name, doing plenty of damage to Kirby. Dropped down to 11, but more damage inflicted to Snappy. He gets tagged up from Brokey's AWP. He'll try and play possum up on the ladders. But the same could be said the other way round. They have themselves Kirby, who's waiting in the wings. There's the first. He'll spin around. He's baiting up enough time for Brokey to white swing onto Spinks.
On the floor. It's just not the end of the world.
Oh, certainly not. You can still bank on these two AWPs, but Rain just sat in bathrooms waiting for that push. Esperanto's also pushed up. He's using that pillar. There's a little bit of sanctuary. I'm surprised that Rain even tagged him. I thought he would go and check. 30 seconds. Snappy will be smoked off, allowing safe passage for the two Ts to push out. Otto, though, also on the back of Ivy, makes his position known before Brokey pushes straight through the smoke. Down the heart of Snappy. Esperanto will get Olofmeister, not anticipating the connector push, and now Brokey knows exactly where he is. Goes out aggressive. Oh, what a shot to Esperanto, but he has to go retrieve the bomb. There's not much time left. There will be enough time, though, for the plant, and he goes for the risk. He plants it out in the open, knowing that the player was last seen in Ivy, but Otto was too busy looking towards spawn. I'm not sure why he didn't push in. Maybe anticipated it was a fake. But now Brokey has every chance to clutch this after a lightning fast scope into the first player. He's now positioned himself, the timing slightly against him. Going to be smoking down onto the site. Try and draw him out. Otto has no kit. There's a small gap in the smoke, and Brokey may have just seen him jump up. He wants to get up close and personal with his AWP. Gives his position away. There shouldn't be any time anyway. Even if Otto takes him down, Brokey's clutched this. What a play from the young Latvian.
Almost looked like he yawned midway through that clutch. Made me feeling a little bit tired. He is alone, and if he goes down, it could be a rifle into enemy hands and decides against going further aggressive. However, Rigon, he wants to fight this. He's watching them. They're lining up their smokes. He's going to get into a more aggressive position. They'll never expect him to be here. Absolutely no chance. They're all going to go walking past. He's got a chance to get it a multi-frag. Is he going to get it done this time? It's two at least. And he's retrieved the AWP. Redemption for Rigon. And he's put his team in with a chance.
It's a chance, but he does get headshot instantly, and that puts it down to Snappy on 46 HP. Rigon really couldn't have done too much more. And now the Dane has his hands on an AK. The bomb is traversing across rapidly onto B site, where Brokey will get it planted. Coldzera is waiting, close angle. There's a knife out for Snappy, and that will be all she wrote for Train. FaZe get it done. They break the hearts of c0ntact and take their choice of map. Situation constantly being broken, but let's see what happens. They're going to be starting.
Don't want to be taking those battles with the Glocks. The flank already coming in, though. It's whether or not Esperanto can deny enough time. Bear in mind, I think Snappy said for the last 4 games they played, they got some like 3 pistol round wins or something ridiculous. It's not good, but this one might be going a little better. A first pistol round coming up for them in this series could be about to happen, as finally they're getting themselves through. It's left onto Brokey and c0ntact them. By the FaZe clan. Otto in a decent position, but again, it's a ruse. They're trying to bait them into a rotation. I think it's worked as well. Esperanto goes peeking into mid. He drops the bomb for a second, but now Spinks has to go ham. Being spammed through the smoke. They've also managed to take down a player looking to try and rotate. Bit of an awkward fight. And actually, Coldzera, he gets tagged from mid. Rigon drops the bomb again. And with only 30 seconds left, they have to go on a retrieval mission.
They have a smoke and a Molotov they can toss down towards the CT side. They both peek, and Quater tapping. And with FaZe being another 2-player deficit, they're going to have to be on point with their utility and their push. Smoke's coming out, one of which is utilized to drop down into CT spawn, but slightly off. There is a gap in there with a Molotov. They're skewed with the angle. In come the T's. Flash is proceeding the push, but nothing to stop Otto from getting them as they push across to the side. He misses the second shot. Gonna cost him, and Brokey also comes in with one, but there's Rigon. One player is there watching it. It will be Spinks with the AUG. We've already seen him do a pretty good job of holding this. Second flash was not good. It's done more harm than good. And now Spinks with 2. He finally goes down, but the damage has been inflicted so heavily by Esperanto's AWP again. That second flash from FaZe
he is very much the bridesmaid, but never the bride. Like, he's doing damage, he's getting there, but he's not getting the stats to go across with it. They're going to try and run boost past this because they don't have a smoke, and it didn't work. They've dropped the bomb. I think it might actually be retrievable, though. That probably not quite what they meant. I don't think they wanted to sacrifice one of their players to get the bomb down, but it does give Rain a chance. Now, again, fantastic in the first map, almost deadly silent in this second. A clutch might get the win back in their sails. But a 1v3, and he's getting pushed already. I don't even think he realizes a couple of flashbangs coming up. Not going to be left blind. First shot connected, does some damage onto Spinks, but Spinks will come running through.
A couple players performing well in middle, the likes of Esperanto. They just didn't really have a plan B or any ideas like what they can do to adapt to it. Rain, though, gets the freebie onto Snappy, who decides to peek in, but Spinks is right back in with one of his own. 4-play-4.
Well, they finally shut down Rigon. He's been pushing that an awful lot, and it looks like pressure might be coming here onto Otto. Still playing an aggressive stance, and this time he lands the shot. Looked like it was his time to shine, but the second doesn't quite land. Esperanto, though, there's no way you'd expect him to be here. Two orcs both playing A. That's a weird one, and ColdZera lurking out long. Puts it back in their favor. Spinks gets shut down through mid, and we exist with his name on them, so... You know, if someone can compete with that, then all for it. I can't get contact one because they don't exist. But ColdZera, he is waiting at the back of the site. Nice nade from Kirby, and he's going to flash back in. A perfect flash to hold them off as well. I don't think they're going to be improving their pistol round percentage anytime soon. Although Snappy comes flying down from above. Spider-Man jump to get him into position. And although his senses may have been tingling, unfortunately, he can't.
Can thread the eye of the needle, narrowly misses out, gives a warning shot to contact. They were thinking about pushing simultaneously through middle. Olaf bypasses the Molotov, taking the head off of Snappy. But Otto at range is delivering with the AK. Taking a little bit of damage, Esperanto shows his hand, but Olaf with the Deagle's going to get another 1D. And now can pick up the M4 and keep the T's at bay on the site. There is another player through middle, which is Spinks, who should be finished off by Olaf, but he gets another headshot and survives to lift the tail. That's an unreal play from Spinks. I have no idea how he survived it, but as do I. I do have concerns whether FaZe have it within them to start to play aggressive, as you saw Contact do. You know, at the stage of the first half when things weren't going well for them, to just mix it up. Rain, though, is stuck at the backside of the site. There's a Molotov right next to him. The flick from Brokey is good. May get peeked again. Needs Rain to come good, and he does. He holds it down. And Brokey quickly activates behind, shutting out the flanking Rigon. Now, the bomb will go down successfully, but all the rest of the T's have been barraged by bullets. And FaZe Clan will have another successful retake, and only at the cost of 2 lives.
It's exactly what they need at this point, and yeah, I'm not feeling necessarily comfortable. Again, one player is going to be the initial battle for long. The others were a little bit further behind, but I guess for Olaf, he gets the refrag. That's all that really matters. He's made sure they hold on to the control and maybe caught by a flash or maybe just trying to avoid them. They've done enough. The problem is, again, there needs to now be a reaction. They've got that initial control. The T's have gone into middle, and Brokey, he switched his position up and gained them an extra frag. See Snappy now manning the AWP after the loss of Otto. You mentioned again another quiet character in this battle, and Esperanto, that's the exact kill he needed. The incendiary will cook him down a bit, but he gets the plant off. However, he's going to need his in-game leader of Snappy to at least get a kill on this short spot.
Oh, the Dane puts the bullet in the head of Kirby, losing health in the process, but at least puts them into a 2-on-2. Another Molotov down. Snappy having a quick check over CT. He can hear the footsteps, but his teammate Esperanto's been put down. Smoke out into the open. Doesn't do a great deal for Snappy, all things considered. It was more for his teammate to survive, and there's Brokey. Has been nullified. Rain with the spray, and ColdZera's trying to peek in just below the smoke. Brokey, aggression, hiding behind the staircase. It's not a spot that FaZe have played too often. There's one, enough time to reposition and getting 2. That is massive from Brokey again. And a molly just behind it will stop the push from coming in unless they smoke it off, which they have. Oh! Esperanto, that spray transfer is a thing of beauty. And now FaZe have a 1v2, and Kirby has to clutch out.
It's turned into the battle of the Baltics. Brokey on one side, Esperanto on the other, and Kirby is not going to check his angle. It's the 30 bomb.
Meister on the back of the site, and is smoked down perfectly. He can now use that to his advantage, but Otto was a step ahead. He anticipated that peak, puts down Olaf Meister, alleviates some of the pressure, and opens up business towards the site. Brokey on Gandalf, waiting to try and show himself in amongst all of the chaos that ColdZera. He's distributing with his deagle. Kirby now headshot onto Otto, and there goes Brokey. Snappy 1-on-3 must be wondering how this came about. how he's up against the world. The bomb is planted for his location. Oh, that one tap is beautiful onto Brokey. There's no kit between the two of the players either. He may be able to finalize this one. And then meanwhile, they're trying to bait him out into the open, wait for his bullets to deplete. Takes the head off of Rain. They can now charge towards the site. And this time around, FaZe may have assumed that that B hit was incoming. They guessed incorrectly. They've got to scamper over there and try and save this map. Their choice of map. There's Spinks now coming up clutch, up close with the M4. Throwing in the Molotov, and Rigon is doing all the damage around him. You have Olof stuck in the smoke. I don't think that grenade necessarily bounced off him, so they may not anticipate that he's in here, but he's now the last chance they have. Bomb is being dropped down from Olof P250. He's gone in for another one, but Esperanto is going to convert, and it's fitting it's Esperanto, because he just had, potentially, the performance of his career.
He's had many of those maps, Vince. I like the sort of maybe slight exaggeration, but yeah, it was one a roster that previously spent more money than anyone else to build an all-star team.
This is actually a pretty solid call, considering that Olof is perched just outside of Squeaky. They forced away tons of rotations downstairs, and now c0ntact is stuck in the vents. This is an excellent call from FaZe that will at least yield a bomb plant, and it's looking like the round on top of it. Rain, beautiful one tap. We'll be going back in for another one. He spots Esperanto, who's on secret stairs. Does come out with one of his own. Needs to pick up Rain. Gets Rain down. They still have a chance. They still have a way back into this round. Time is dwindling away from the bomb. Snappy now is the next player up. He gets tagged down to 1 HP, but still alive, is drawing some of those T's away. Esperanto now comes back in for another one. He's not showing any signs of slowing down after that Dust 2 performance, but even for a player of his stature and magnitude, it was never really going to happen. And now Snappy has to try and survive on his measly 1 HP. And maybe he can shut down c0ntact in the back. Does get it done. Yeah, I'm curious to see how FaZe will respond to that round. It is the kind of play that, again, you normally say you can't really rely on for c0ntact, but they've done it so many times, I don't think I necessarily agree with that statement. Esperanto gets the freebie as Otto draws away some attention after taking out Kirby outside. Esperanto with another, just tap, tap, tap to the head of c0ntact. And if there is going to be a response, it won't be coming in round 4. Brokey, last man alive. Strange angle from Snappy that catches him off guard, and it's a clean...
But it's not great. They've had to use most of their utility outside and actually gone for the close wall of smokes. Although there was an extra smoke thrown down that I'm a little bit confused by. Esperanto, though, playing outside, has been having a field day. We've seen him now get a couple of kills around this position. Escaping from here might be quite tough, and in fact, he'll get caught. Rigon at the same time also goes down, and the re-aggression from Snappy. Kirby's just waiting for it. In fact, they push after push after push, and it is kill after kill for FaZe.
Amongst the 5 of them, and still a lot of time to try and fend this off. It is a wall of smokes, but in a different angle. It opens up secret, and Otto will oblige with his ult. Gets in for one. Traded back from Rain, who is looking to cause some chaos downstairs. Draw some of these CTs out into the open. Snappy is going to now go down to ramp. May very well check the trophy room. Sees nobody, but is still being careful because Esperanto spots a player outside, drops the bomb down, and that funnels FaZe into a bit of an awkward position. Spinks will hold his nerve for one. And now Brokey goes in before he gets slapped back.
Their T-side's been quite dynamic. You mentioned they've consistently been switching up the smokes, using the L smokes, the diagonal smokes, even just the standard cross. This round it's changed again, and we're going to see them try and burst into the site. It's a good start, though. Both Spinks and Otto get a frag apiece, and Rigon with a nice transfer onto the second.
Aiming with this gun just makes it look so good. Obviously, when I use it, I can't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. But he's just spin headshot, spin headshot, spin headshot. Otto, in the meanwhile, though, with his ult, is coming alive. And it seems like c0ntact, again, have a pretty rough middle portion of the half, but they end strong. 9-6 again, but c0ntact have to come back from behind. 6 rounds to 9 on FaZe. They on the T side will be picking up the pace, getting straight up close and personal. Flashbang could not have been better placed on the head of c0ntact, and now Spinks and the rest of c0ntact have rummaged their way through straight onto the site, and they have great post-plant positions. It's all on FaZe to bring this back underway.
Spinks on the angle. I don't know how they get back into this, but Brokey clearly has other ideas. Already getting a couple of kills, or at least one. The trades come back thick and fast, though. It's looking like they might finally get another pistol round. Looking for 2 out of 10.
Very unfortunate for coldzera. He eats 50% of his HP as a result, and is forced back into position.
Oh, Kirby thought he was being a bit sneaky outside and ends up being caught. Brokey, though, re-aggresses. He's doing damage. He's making things costly. coldzera as well lands a 1-dig, and that's on one of the healthier players as well. Esperanto goes down. A good position for Brokey. Another tag connected. It might not be the kill, but he's given coldzera a chance. Turns into a 1v2 situation. The Swede, who's been in many, maybe won many more. Can he do anything in this situation? First kill goes his way. Denies the plant, at least for now. Peeks back in, but the deagle shots don't land on the situation. Kirby not fighting outside anymore. And in fact, this time it seems like c0ntact have actually been well telegraphed by FaZe Clan. Something that they've struggled with over the last few rounds, but it seems like 3 in a row was enough. Although they could dart back up the vent, although that'd be a pretty bold call. Then again, it seems like Snappy is full of bold calls. As said, like to go the same way 3 times in a row, that's something that not many teams would be willing to do. Virtus.pro always springs to mind when we think of that, but instead they're going to attempt the B site. Something we really haven't seen, not even just throughout this map, throughout the series. The B site on Dust 2 was something they eluded completely. Yet this time they've got an after plant and they're catching players on the rotation. Good job from Spinks. Brokey needs some sort of hero play. He does have Olaf beside him who can at least section one off, and Rain has denied the push back up the vent, maybe expecting this to be some sort of save at this point. Instead, though, he hears players tapping onto the bomb. Olaf has found another kill. Things are starting to fall apart. It's left onto just a couple of players. Olaf Meister's gone huge, and now they're just defusing the bomb in front of Snappy. It started perfectly. A 5-on-3 situation. Question, it's been answered. They need a hero. Now, for Brokey in this round, if he's not in the right place at the right time, he saves. That's it. There's no, like, let's run in and try and retake the site with an AWP. And the fact is, it already looks like he's in the wrong place. Unless he can make a very quick rotation back towards this side of the map. And if you look at the map, he is the only player. What? They've just managed to get 3 kills with USP. Luckily, Rigon gets a quad spray down. I feel like someone with a split personality as I've just quickly watched this round spring. However, Brokey, he springs into action. He comes up with another pick, dropping it down to just Esperanto. A 1v1. The Baltics facing off against each other. Which will be best, Latvia or Lithuania? As the peak comes back in and Brokey closes the round.
Deployed.
Sort of play makes me uncomfortable. Being on the edge of this smoke, it's one of the most common spam spots in the entire game. However, they've managed to get both entries. 2 players go down, it's up to Rain, but he might have just done enough. A double spray down, a combination with Brokey, and it's left onto one lone Lithuanian. Esperanto, the star of the last map, over 30 kills to his name, needs another 3. This map has been a little bit more quiet and he's been spotted. They know where he is, but he's going to try and isolate Rain. He does just that. A first kill, but he loses a hell of a lot of HP. And the time is against him. 2 to 5. He spots the man on the corner, gets the second as well. It's up to Brokey, who misses the shot. The first doesn't go, but the time is ticking. 13 seconds, he lands it, and we go to overtime. Esperanto saves c0ntact once again.
Close edge of main with a smoke just below. Has now disappeared. As will Rain. He's been traded out by Snappy. Brokey on the retreat gets 2. It looked like coldzera may take that kill away from him. Wasn't the case. 20 seconds to play with. Brokey nearly gets picked off trying to retreat. And now Olafmeister needs to stand his ground. Esperanto nearly finishes off Brokey. 10 seconds to go and the T's are now scurrying to the site. They can't deny this bomb plant, but maybe Brokey can stop him afterwards. He actually comes off the bomb plant. Is there enough time? Esperanto may have just thrown this round away.
Oh.
He has. He came off the timer. He could have stuck it. And willing to stand up. It feels like it's going to take something special to win 2 back-to-back rounds to take us to a second overtime, and Snappy will be called upon. He's picked up the AWP, misses the first shot, has to back away. Incendiary down, so many players coming at him. He at least gets 1, and he's done a chunk of damage to 3 more players, but it's opening up business downstairs. They now need to deal with the man Rigon. Off the back of a crazy play, he's in pole position to strike once more. Spinks holds the line for the 1 frag. Brokey, though, won't be called upon because it's Kirby behind him that takes the head off of Rigon, and now a 2v2 falls upon us, and a real chance at a clutch for c0ntact. Kirby's been smacked down by Otto's AWP, and it's gonna be Brokey who comes straight back in. And with a minute to play with, he can have the choice of either side, but he's going back down to B. And it's Esperanto that's waiting there, but Brokey takes his head off straight away. There are no more heroes, only FaZe remains.